Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this special holiday monthly program on December 1, 2020. We're going to mix things up just a little bit this morning, so it'll be a different order than usual. First, we're going to have Carla Ver Schure introduce our guests and new members. That will be followed by some reminders and announcements that I have for you, and then we'll get to our program. So first of all, Carla.
Thank you, Barbara. It's wonderful that so many of you can join us this morning. And on behalf of the membership committee, I'd like to wish you all a holiday season filled with peace and hope. And now I'd like to introduce our guests and new members. We're pleased to have a guest join us this morning. Mary L. Shannon is with us, and welcome, Mary. And now let's give a HASP welcome to 5 new members. With us today are Ben and Bethany Baker, Chad and Joyce Schmucker, and Kathleen Stewart Ponitz. We welcome each of you, and we look forward to the time we can meet you in person and you can actively participate with us in HASP. Welcome. Let's give a wave or a thumbs up to all our new members and our guests. Thank you.
Thank you, Carla. The curriculum fall term is coming to a close in a couple of weeks. Thank you for participating in the many courses that were offered during the term. Fall term classes will be available on the HASP YouTube channel beginning December 14th. The course catalog for the winter-spring term of 2021 is in its final stages of preparation. It will be mailed to you during the week of December 14th. There is a wonderful array of courses that will be available to you during the coming winter months when we need to spend time in our home and the safety and comfort of our homes. We hope you will take advantage of the opportunity to explore a wide variety of subjects, in addition to an in-depth look through the focus courses on diversity, equity, and inclusion. Registration will be online beginning January 4, 2021. After a successful trivia night in October, the Special Events Committee is preparing another trivia night, which will be held on Tuesday, December 15th. The evening will feature a holiday theme, and it will be a way for each of us to see some of our HASP friends who we haven't seen for a long time. And it's also a time that you can make new HASP friends. Please watch for constant contacts with additional information. Now, thank you to the HASP members who were able to volunteer in HOPE classes during the fall term. If you're wondering if these service opportunities make a difference, be sure that you read the December newsletter for comments from both HOPE College students and faculty, and then watch for future newsletters for more opportunities during next semester. This has been a year different in so many respects. I do not need to recount the many ways we have all adjusted to new and unusual circumstances. All of us are aware of those. We have come this far, and hopefully we will continue to be vigilant as we move forward into a new year that holds the promise of renewal and return to so many things that are important to us, especially the joy of being with family and friends again. Well, I think we all are ready for a little Christmas cheer, as I think someone said earlier this morning. It's December 1. I know this morning's program will provide us with a sense of comfort and joy as we listen to music, some familiar, some new. Music unifies us. It brings us together, whether we're in a concert hall, a football stadium, or a place of worship. Especially during Advent and Christmas, music is a major part of our memories and experiences. Our monthly program committee planned this musical holiday program because they did not want HASP members to miss this special part of the season, especially this year of 2020. So as I leave you this morning, I want to wish you all a holiday season that is filled with comfort, joy, peace, and hope. Merry Christmas to you all. And now, Claudia Berry, who's the chairperson of our monthly program committee, will be introducing this morning's program.
Thank you, Barbara. As Barbara has said, Christmas music is one holiday tradition we shouldn't have to live without in 2020. This morning, we will be joining Rhonda Edgington at the Organ Council of Hope Church as she performs settings of familiar Advent and Christmas hymn tunes written by composers old and new. Rhonda Sider Edgington is often been commended for her innovative program, colorful use of registrations, and exciting play. She spent 7 years studying, working, and performing in Bremen, Germany, originally under a Fulbright scholarship. She is an avid collaborative musician and plays organ, piano, harpsichord, and the carillon. Rhonda is the organist and assistant music director of Hope Church, organ instructor at Calvin University, Dean of Holland American Guild of Organists chapter, and maintains an active performing career. We all have the best seat in the house, so let's sit back and enjoy as we watch
You have to mute yourself.
Rhonda's hands and feet move over the keys during this presentation. And at the end of it, we will have the opportunity
You have to
for a
mute yourself.
Q&A about organ music and the music played. So if you have any questions as you are enjoying this music, please just put them in the chat box and Kim will be happy to answer them. So in our own way, let's welcome Rhonda and Christmas music traditions. Welcome, Rhonda.
Good morning. I am going to open today with 2 pieces by Bach. He's setting a very famous Lutheran Advent hymn, Savior of the Nations Come. The first is festive and fast and joyful. I'm playing the hymn tune in long notes in my feet, and the second is more quiet and contemplative.
are called.
I have chosen for this program a set of some familiar and some not as familiar Advent and Christmas hymns and carols, and most of them I've done two different settings of, because often a lot of these settings are quite short, only a couple minutes. So I'm not going to announce every single one of them. Some of these are going to be tunes that you recognize. If you want to know more about the composers, Google is a great place to find out more. So we're going to continue right on. Raymond Hahn, I'll just say, is a Grand Rapids composer and organist, so maybe a name that's familiar to some of you. We've had a lot of quiet settings, so now we're going to go to another louder, exciting setting of this beautiful hymn of the Father's Love Begotten. And this is by a British composer, and hope you'll enjoy. Now we go to two quiet settings of a beautiful Christmas hymn that a lot of us love, Lo How a Rose. The first setting is by a friend of mine who is an American but living in Germany, And the second one is by Johannes Brahms, is especially beloved of many people. I found out a few years ago that my predecessor here at Hope Church, Barbara, loved to play this piece, and my father, who's an organist, who was my first organ teacher, is also a favorite of his. So dedicating this to both of them. The next piece I'm only playing one setting of because it's a longer setting. And if you are much acquainted with the church music or organ scene in the West Michigan area, you definitely know the name of Larry Visser. He is the organist at La Grave in Grand Rapids, where they have a big organ and a big church music program, a big choir. So this is a really gorgeous setting of this hymn that a lot of us love. My final piece is not a hymn that we sing, but if you ever like to watch the Lessons and Carols from King's College, I'm sure you know this this Christmas carol, and this is a fun and peppy arrangement of that too.
Thank you, Rhonda. Thank you so much. Let me look you up for some questions. Hopefully you can hear it because I can't hear anything at this point.
All right. So I hope you're all there.
We're here, Rhonda. Thank you so much. Can you hear me?
Yes, except I
Okay.
just pulled these out.
Wonderful. I don't have any questions in the chat box other than a few comments about this is my favorite, or I always loved hearing this at Hope Vespers, or things like that. So if any of our past members who are still on and you would like to unmute yourself, feel free to ask any questions of Rhonda or comments.
Rhonda. This is Claudia Berry, and I chair the program committee, and I just want to thank you very much for letting us kick off the holiday season on December 1 with something that's very important to all of us. And since we can't be with you in person, we really appreciate this virtual experience. And I also want to thank Brad Bright, who helped make this whole thing possible with you. He's the sound man behind the microphone there. And I am just so pleased that we could bring music to all of our members. And we wish all of you a very happy holiday season.
And
Thanks, Claudia.
I also want to thank Perry Landis, who helped Brad and I out with his sound expertise to make the sound as good as possible for you guys.
Thank you. All right, a couple questions are coming in now. Can you, let's see, hold on here. Are there any upcoming women composers or arrangers for organ you'd like to share with us?
Oh, sure. Last Christmas, I played this gorgeous variations on, it wasn't in the bleak midwinter. Oh, 'twas in the moon of winter time, if you like that. It's another kind of melancholy Christmas hymn. And it's by a Cincinnati-based organist and composer, Brenda Portman. And she is a fellow Wheaton College graduate and has a DMA in organ from the Cincinnati Conservatory. And she is writing some really lovely settings. Another composer from the Midwest, an organist and composer who I just have discovered. Her name is Mary Ann Kim, and she's based in Chicago. She was born in Korea and moved to Chicago a number of years ago. And she incorporates a lot of jazz into her, lots of hymn arrangements. So those are also really unique and distinctive sounding. I like to play a lot of women composers. Sorry to say I didn't include any women composers on this program. I was mostly kind of grabbing for a lot of pieces I already knew and old favorites. Last Christmas time, I played a program for the Saugatuck Episcopal Church for their women's group of all women composers of Christmas music. So that was fun. And sorry I didn't get any of those out for you guys this year, but if you ask me next year, I can do that for next year. Let me think if I have any other. Oh, Rochelle Lauren is a Canadian composer, and I love to play her works too. She has a great voice, really distinctive. Those are some women composers who I enjoy playing.
Wonderful, thank you. Here's two somewhat related questions. One, part A is, do you have a favorite organ? And part two is, do you like to improvise on the organ?
I have to admit that improvisation is not something that I have spent a lot of time doing. There are organists who are fabulous improvisers, and I view myself as more kind of a utilitarian improviser. I can noodle around on hymns if somebody needs to get somewhere during a service. There are, if you even look on YouTube, there's a lot of organists who are really gifted improvisers. They, can do whole symphonies and variations on themes and all that kind of thing. And I'm not really, that's not been something I've spent a lot of time on. I love listening to that, but it's not exactly something that I feel like I'm really gifted at. Although I'm sure I could get better if I practiced, as with everything, right? Is there an organ that I really enjoy? Well, the thing about organs is they're so different. And, I spent time in Germany, in Northern Germany with Baroque instruments, and there's certainly some instruments there that I really love. If you want to look up on the internet, the Schnitger in Norden is a fabulous instrument. And the Schnitger in the Jacobi Kirche in Hamburg, those are both, Arp Schnitger was one of the famous 17th century organ builders in Northern Germany. And those are two of his really gorgeous representative works, but you can't play everything on an instrument like that. And so there's lots of instruments that I enjoy. Here in Holland, I tell a lot of people I really love playing the new organ at Grace Episcopal, built by an American builder, Martin Passy. If I want to play Baroque works, that's where I go, and that's a lot of fun. I've also spent quite a bit of time playing in Zealand at Second Reform, and that organ is very different from the one at Grace Episcopal, but can play a lot of French and more modern works, some things that logistically don't work as well at Grace. So yeah, I like a lot of different instruments, and it's a little bit hard to pick just one, but those are a couple.
Neat. Related to that question, if you could tell us what Christmas in Germany was like and how those customs differ from ours.
Oh, that's an interesting question. Sure. So let's see. St. Nicholas Day is really big, and our kids were born in Germany, so we got to do a little bit of that custom with people, which as I recall, involved something a little bit like trick-or-treating, where you go to houses and businesses, but as opposed to trick-or-treating, you have to have something that you present as the child. You either have a song or a poem that you recite or you sing, and then if you do that, you get candy or oranges or whatever people are passing out. And I remember my son, one year we took him, and I think he sang Jingle Bells, and everybody thought that was the cutest thing ever. So that was kind of fun. So St. Nicholas Day was really big. And then there's the Christmas markets, which are kind of everywhere. And I thought about that tradition a lot this winter, because Germans don't have anything against standing outside in the cold with their friends talking. Of course, they have like hot alcoholic beverages that they're sipping, but the Christmas markets are all about hanging out outside when it's cold, and eating fatty hot foods, and maybe buying some knickknacks or going on some rides. So Germans certainly don't shy away from being outside in inclement weather. They also, I remember the Christmas tree that they would set up in the cathedral in the center of Bremen. There's a beautiful market, kind of marketplace that has the cathedral. And one year I happened to be walking by, I'm sure I was going to the music school, which is right by the cathedral, early in the morning. And I saw these men dragging this Christmas tree into the cathedral. And I didn't really have a sense of the scope of how big those trees are, because it's a big space once you get it in there. But there was like 5 guys dragging this gigantic tree up the steps. And I can still remember that because it was so striking, and nobody would have put up a fake tree in a church or a fake Advent wreath, like it was all the real thing. So I remember lots of trees in the spaces, and they like to suspend the Advent wreaths. Oh, I'm not very good with keeping these in my ears. They like to suspend the Advent wreaths kind of from the middle of the church. Another thing Germans love is Posaune choirs, brass choirs. So, you would always have, most every church would have its own choir, which is, just a small brass group of mostly amateurs who enjoy playing for fun. And they would always play for carols, or maybe they'd have a special concert of Christmas music. And I know from some of my German friends, they've said that they, in this time when they're not allowed to sing in church and when they aren't doing as much, the brass groups like to stand outside of church when people are coming in and out and play, or play for folks outside of nursing homes. So those are just some things that come to the top of my head. Certainly there's some Christmas songs that we sing that they like to sing, and they have some of their own songs that I didn't know as well, which I enjoyed getting to know.
Thank you.
I bet they're more agnostics in this program than.
There's more agnostics. I don't think I heard the question. I'm not quite sure.
Okay. Wonderful. And then I'll try to screenshot and share these with you. We just have a lot of thank yous to you and to Brad and to Perry for helping put this all together for us, and what a treat it was. Oh, here's one more. Maybe you'd like to comment about your training on the organ.
Sure. I started playing the piano when I was young. My parents are both musicians, and I didn't start the organ until I was in high school. My first organ teacher was my dad, who's also an organist, and went off to undergrad to do a bachelor's in piano performance and took organ lessons there. And that's when I got more interested in playing the organ. So then I did my master's in organ performance at Indiana University. And after that time, moved. My ears are not correctly shaped for these. I moved to Chicago, where I had a church job, did some recitals and things like that. And after a few years in Chicago, then my husband and I moved to Germany, where I had a Fulbright. So I had a Fulbright to study the music and organs of Baroque Northern Germany, and ended up staying there for 7 years, which wasn't the original plan, but got to experience a lot, learn a lot there. And since coming back, I still love to play that repertoire, although it depends on the organ that I'm playing. I also have really gotten interested in the music of contemporary composers, women composers. I'm trying to shine a light on some of those less representative groups. And I think it's really fun to discover new works and always looking for new composers. And yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you. Okay, it's 10:35. So feel free, I know program normally ends at 10:30. So if you need to go, please go. And Claudia or Brad, do either of you want to wrap things up here?
Brad gave me his headphones, so he can't hear anything.
Okay, Claudia, well.
Okay, I'll wrap things up. I want to thank you all. I can see from all the comments, Rhonda, that this was greatly appreciated and something that we all probably needed as we close out 2020 and hope for a better 2021. We will begin our monthly program on January 5 with Fred Johnson, who many of you are familiar with, professor at Hope College, and he will be speaking to us. His topic is America's Tortured Soul. So we wish you all a very happy holiday season. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we will see you virtually on January 5. Thank you.
Thanks, Claudia. Thank you, Claudia. Goodbye, everyone. Have a wonderful
Bye.
afternoon. Merry Christmas.